So we're continuing the project we started last time, and we're adding some limitations we found last time because we have another meeting with the client and some other limitations came up. So like the different perception and reality of people when they think about church, and we would like people to find what they're actually thinking of they will find in a church. So they will have to be welcome always and feel like a welcoming atmosphere. Another limitation we have is the size of the church, because actually it's a really big structure. So some improvements should be made in the interior space and how it is used, but some other ideas will be presented later. And the other problem is people at St. Mary's are coming from all over town, so they don't just take people from the area of the church. And the probably biggest limitations is the segmentation of the community. So there is a really big Polish community, and there is very little that can be done in that area because there is nothing that can be done there. Last time we identified that the touch point is missing is the age starting from 15, 16 and going on. So we're talking about millennials and young adults. And we developed a kind of research that will explain what these people are looking for and what they're not finding in the church, and some improvement they think should be done in the church. So now Annette will explain the research proposal we have.
So based on what from our last presentation and on the next client meeting we had this week, and on what we had like with interviews with people like in private before and we were like talking about, and also on the literature, we find like several topics we wanted to test in our survey to find out if what we find out last time is actually like there is like our millennial group, the low group actually existing, and do they really want the things we were thinking they want to think. Like we did the research to prove what we like found in the first presentation is actually true, and to be able to like target them better in the third section. So we started our survey with like explaining like a brief introduction, like who we are and what we're doing for the survey. Then we had some questions about engagement with the church. For example, like, do you actually go to church? Why do you go to church? How often do you go? Then we had sections about the feelings towards the church, which also included like expectations and image of the church. For example, we had like a scale 1 to 5, and it was like on the one side it said modern, conservative, and then you had to scale if it's like from 1 to 5 where you would put the church. And also we asked them, what are your expectations towards the church? Like when you go in the church, what are you thinking about? What, like to get the task between what people actually think about the church and what the church actually like delivers them. So we also had a question, what did not make you go again? Like what would you like to have find in the church to be welcomed? And then we also had suggestions, like asked them for improvements, what they would think would make it more appealing to them. And of course we had our socio-demographic questions in the end of the questionnaire for the reason that if you put it in the end, people feel more anonymous. If like you put it like in a market research, you should never put the socio-demographic questions in the first place, because otherwise people won't be that honest because they think you're actually asking them who I am, and if you put them in the end, they're more honest. Yeah. And also for the scaling, what we did was when we had the image questions 5, we did not have all on the same side, like logical, we mixed it to prove that people are not just answering like all the same areas, so it makes, to prove that they're actually like really doing the questionnaire we're thinking and not just doing like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the time. So findings. In total, we had 33 people. Most of the participants were master's students, as we like did it in our course and like sent to other courses and societies. the people were between 19 and 39 years old. The average age, like most of the people were like between 25, 24. In total, we had 13 women and 18 males, and 2 people who preferred not to say their gender, which was also an option because you have to be equal. Religion, we gave some few options and also put the option other. So even if you did not find your religion in the ones we gave, you had the option to put your own religion or what you ever believed in. In total, we had 12 people who were atheists and did not believe in anything, and 12 people who were Roman Catholic, which is actually the target group of St. Mary, the normal religion of St. Mary's Cathedral, and 9 people answered other religions or put for example, Hinduism, Buddhism, was Muslims, were as well Jewish people. The really detailed question, and answers, and the questionnaire we will give you in a PDF data. So one of the first questions was, do you actually go to church? And 69% said no, while 31% said yes. But the really interesting fact is the third question was, if no, did you ever go to church? And as you can see, even though most of the people said they're not going to church, a really big variety said, yes, but I have already been there. So the question was, where do we lose all these people? They're actually saying, yes, we go. So we had further questions and asked them, what made you actually go? Why did you go? And 15 people said it's because of their belief. 10 people said religious and ceremony. 9 said wedding, and 8 said tourism. We have also more answers, which you will see in the PDF data, but that we just point out the most important findings. And then we had, if yes, what made you not go again? And that was for us really interesting. 10 people said, I did not understand the religion. So maybe if they would understand actually the religion, they would go again. So that is also why we had in the suggestions in our appendix, why we will offer advise the church to do questionnaire sections and different masks to even get those people who maybe did not understand it, that's why they did not come again, to give them the opportunity to actually understand the religion and maybe come then again because they're interested in it. Otherwise it was, I didn't feel welcome, where 4 people, so we have to change that as well. And 5 people said it's not my religion. Then we had a question, what makes you actually go to church? And a lot said family, which we already targeted before with our touch points. That was kind of clear for us, not a big surprise. But interesting and also an evidence for what we said before is special events, community, realization, and mass. So that are things we should appeal more in the future. Then we also asked the people what would make you go to church, to know what are they interested in. And they said some interesting events would make them actually go, family, a community, or if it was more casual. For most of the people, they had the feeling church is a Sunday ritual, so they have to dress up and it's really formal, and they did not feel really welcome of that. And then we also asked what would make you go back to a church, because that's actually the main point. It's not okay, how do we get you once, because we want a routine there. So what would make you go back is events and community were the biggest answers. And then we also asked with whom would you go to church, and the majority were clear that they would go actually with their friends, which also appeals with the community. So we also asked them, would you go with your friends to a church event, kind of a union event or a party? That's not really what you do. And 79% said yes. So that's actually a really big target group if you think about it. And we also asked, would you join church events even if you're not Catholic? So even if you're not the typical target group. And 45% said yes, and 23% just said no, and 32% said maybe, so that's also a target group you can try to get. Yeah, and then our last question was before the socio-demographic plannings, where do you have any suggestions, wishes, or proposals for improvement for the Catholic Church? And we just got like the most common ones, put them up. It was become more modern, more transparency, like trying to get more what do you really think, more interaction, which feels like making more events, like co-interact with your people, be less forceful with opinion and belief, encourage healthy discussion of what religion is to different people. So help people to really understand it, and don't be judgmental. So some people said, like, I don't want to feel unwelcome just because I'm not religious. I still want to be able to go there. So that's like a key point. Yes, based on that and on all what we had before, we created like our customer profile, which you will also find more detail there. Most of our millennials are free in the evening because they have either university or work in the morning or during the day. They like to go in events to like maybe having dinner or a music festival, kind of that stuff. They have the typical behavior is that our age group has the desire to be individual and creative. They want to be themselves and like come out differently. They want to get more involved and change the world. They want to like change what is going on right now. They have the desire to experience. We always want to like have new adventures and like live something new. Our dreams is to spend more time with our family and friends. We want to bond more because we kind of like of the rush world we're in. Like we like think we're missing out. We want to something that de-stresses us in our like hectic all day. We want something to be more creative, and we want alternatives to our routines and normal life. Frustrations might be that we're feeling left out in our world, that we're missing our home, especially if we're like studying somewhere else. We get sometimes bored, and I feel like pressure or are really stressed and anxious.
So as requested, based on our studying, we provide a acres rent equity pyramid to get a better understanding of who we're targeting and who are going to church. So on the top we have frequent visitors. Those are people who go to church often. They do have religious belief and that they engage in the community. Second is stable visitors. They maybe attend less than the frequent visitors, but they are considered as loyal churchgoers, and they attend the mass once a week. So for next level is occasional visitors. They might go for special events, but they don't show up there a lot. And the next step is non-stable visitor. They probably only go there for tourism, probably once a year. They don't really have any religious belief. They don't find emotional attached to churches at all. And the last one is they just don't go to church. They went to church before, but that was the only time for them to go, and they are not considering to coming back. And that's all the